Who is Grace Ashcroft? Well, all we know is she is the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, a pre-existing RE character from the Resident Evil Outbreak series. We also know that Grace is an analyst for the FBI, and she's been on a case for a while now, which consists of bodies turning up, and a mysterious disease is linked to it. But could Grace be some sort of key, or have a higher purpose that she's unaware of? Especially since these words were uttered in the recent trailer for Resident Evil 9.
I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
Special one? Chosen one? What could this mean? Well, here are our theories. Grace is a prodigy, born into a virus of sorts. What I mean by that is during the events of Resident Evil Outbreak, you can be left with different outcomes depending on what you do. Characters in Outbreak can live or die. Well, since Alyssa is linked to the current story of RE9, Capcom is definitely changing the story of Outbreak and creating a more singular canon event. In 1993, Alyssa became a journalist for the Raccoon Press, and she was following an investigation that led to Umbrella being the culprit. She had her memories suppressed by a chief researcher for Umbrella by the name of Greg Mueller. I wouldn't be surprised that during that time Alyssa had been experimented on. God only knows what they did to her. The birth of Grace could have led to her harnessing and controlling whatever virus her mother had, and being able to control it. In the trailer for RE9, we can hear what seems to be a young Grace.
Everyone's gone.
What if Grace was an experiment conducted by Umbrella? What if Grace wasn't the biological daughter of Alyssa, and more so adopted by her? Alyssa was on Umbrella's case for years even prior to the infamous 1998 incident. Who's to say she didn't somehow stumble upon Grace when trying to expose Umbrella? And she felt obligated to protect this little girl, and whoever Grace was prior was now under Alyssa to conceal her true identity and protect her from Umbrella. Let's go back to the topic of her being the actual daughter of Alyssa. What if they implement a story of the Ashcroft name having a more historical purpose? And her being the biological daughter of Alyssa makes her a prodigy, and she realizes what her background truly is and where she comes from. Also, Alyssa was briefly mentioned in RE7 in a newspaper article she published in 2016. Talking about the strange disappearances that were happening in Dulvey, Louisiana, but that's a discussion theory for another video.
Alyssa had to have been onto something that obviously caused her death. Grace may uncover the truth of what her mother tried to expose, which could result in Grace knowing more about who she or her mother are. Miss Ashcroft, the special one, chosen one, could very well be directed towards Alyssa as well. It isn't truly specified. Those sentences seem to be different takes because of the tone that the man in the chair has when he utters those words. Grace carries her mother's name, but not her father's. Who could her dad be? Did Alyssa ever truly get married? Was it a surprise pregnancy? For all we know, her father could be a deadbeat nobody. Or her father could be of great importance but was kept hidden due to who he is or what would make him the reason Grace is so special. In Resident Evil Outbreak, Alyssa gets infected with the E strain or Epsilon strain of the T virus, which is responsible for creating crimson heads and lickers. She had gotten infected from the contaminated drinking water during the outbreak in 1998. Multiple outcomes can occur in Outbreak depending on what you do. Alyssa can escape Raccoon City's destruction and cure herself. What if when Grace was born, she was able to somehow retain antibodies for the T virus, making her immune? Grace Ashcroft being the chosen one could mean a plethora of things. Time will tell with our new heroine when Resident Evil Requiem finally drops.